I would just like to start by saying thank you for agreeing to take part in my first speech for my effective speaking class that I'm taking this semester. I'm going to give an informative speech about my name, and even though a name may seem like a very straightforward thing, there's actually a lot that goes into it. So even though you all know me extremely well, you may not know all the ins and outs about my name. I plan to give you information about the origin of my name, why I came to have the name that I do, what my name has meant to me throughout my life. I'm going to tell you some other notable people who share my name, and I'm also going to show you the crest of my family, my last name. So please make yourselves comfortable, and I'm going to tell you about my name. My name is Christopher James Lewis, but pretty much everybody just calls me Chris. In order to find out what the origin of my name was, I looked at Ancestry.com online. According to the website, my first name is of English origin and means bearer of Christ. My middle name, James, is derived from the biblical person Jacob and is also my father's first name. The surname Lewis originally came from German and is composed of two different words. The first, Hlad, which means fame, and the second, Wig, which means war, and loosely translates into great battle. As for why I was named what I am, I asked my parents what inspired them to give me my name. I was told that my mom had a great-grandfather named Christian, but they didn't want to give me that exact name, so they wanted to find something that would be similar. A popular name the year I was born was Christopher, which is still a popular name today, so that's what they decided to name me. Initially, the plan was for my name not to be shortened to Chris, but given the tendency for our society to shorten everything, it has been. I go by Chris now, and that became kind of unrealistic. So far in my life, I've never really had a problem with my name. It isn't something that can be twisted into a teasing name very easily, and it's not something off the wall that kids would have a tendency to make fun of me for. It is a really common name, though, and sometimes there are some things that can be annoying that surround that. When I try to subscribe to websites or set up email addresses, there are always, if I try to set the name Chris Lewis, it's always taken, and they always give me a suggestion of putting 4 or 10 numbers behind it. So that's kind of a pain sometimes. Also, if I'm out in public and there's a big group of people, there's almost always numerous Chris's, and if someone calls for Chris, it's usually not for me, but I turn my head anyway. But even with some of the minor issues that may arise from my name, I'm glad that I have the name that I do and wouldn't want to have any other name. Being such a common name, though, there does happen to be a few famous people that share it. I did a Google search, and it came up with several people from different careers and things that do share the name Chris Lewis. There's a tennis player from New Zealand that made it to the Wimbledon finals in 1983, which was the year I was born. There's also a golf blogger named Chris Lewis who writes for publications such as Sports Illustrated and Wired magazine. And these are just a couple. There was numerous ones more, but these were two of the first ones that I found. According to the website www.fourcrests.com, the coat of arms for the surname Lewis is a silver lion on a black shield. The crest is a silver lion sedgent, which means that it's a seated silver lion. The motto for the name Lewis is Patriae Fides, which translates to mean faithful to my country. This is a visual representation of what a coat of arms and crest would look like for the last name Lewis. It's not something that we commonly see in the United States, but other parts of the world, I'm sure still use these and have throughout history, so this is just what one of those would look like. I'd like to wrap up by saying that even though my name hasn't brought me fame or fortune, and that it really isn't a name that stands out for any particular reason, I'm proud to have the name that I do. One thing that I've learned in my life is that our names are extremely important, and we need to respect them. Our names are going to be forever tied to our actions, so if our actions are good and just, then our name is going to be representative of good things, and if our actions are bad, then people are always going to look at our name and say that, that it's associated with something bad. So it's very important to treat our names well and act good. So I'd like to thank you all for listening to my speech about my name, and I hope that you'll join me in my future speeches for the class. Thank you.